Hello everybody. I don't know who's going to see this, but I want to tell my story. Whether or not anyone is interested, I don't know. But the last 2 months have been very interesting. I will start by saying my name is Nina. I live in the southwest of England, and I'm at home in my own bed. I have 4 cats in this house as well, so I may get disturbed, but that's who I am. I'm not going to talk too much about my past. I might save that for another video. Normally I post something like this to LiveJournal, but I thought it would be a good idea to do a video. This will be going up on YouTube, and I know I'm going to get some negative comments. Everybody gets negative comments all the time. If you do watch this, then thank you for watching this. I guess the only reason that I'm doing this is that someone outside of my family and friends can see what is happening to me. My family and friends are completely aware of the situation. They've experienced it as well, with me. So, I'm going to start by apologising if that's sassy. I'm going to start by apologising if anything I say or anything I do in this video upsets you or causes you offence. Believe me when I say it is not my intention to upset anyone or offend anyone. I like to think I'm a pretty open-minded person. Anyway, I've been with my husband for 5 years. We haven't been married 5 years. We've been married 2 months. But my husband Nick, I've known him for over 10 years, I think. And we got together on the 28th of June 2008. I count it from that day because that's the day that he told me he loved me. So I count it from that day. We were together for about a year when Nick proposed. His proposal was beautiful, and I definitely said yes, without a shadow of a doubt. I knew as soon as we got together that he was the man I was going to spend the rest of my life with. So I said yes. We weren't in any rush to get married. We couldn't afford it, mainly. But we weren't in any rush. So we stayed engaged for a couple of years. When it got to 3 years of being engaged, my parents, my mother and stepfather, and my husband's parents, I think they got to the end of their tether and they wanted us to get married. Yep, that's sassy. Sorry, excuse me. Get down, puss, 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 puss. Good girl. Oh, you okay, puss, 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 puss? Good girl. They wanted us to get married, so we thought, okay, we've been engaged for 3 years. We might as well start planning the wedding. So we started planning the wedding, paying for the wedding. His parents, I can't speak. They have helped us so much. They supported us financially, and they've supported us emotionally. And through them, we managed to get a wedding planned and paid for. I will go into more detail about my wedding in a separate video, I think. Again, I don't know who will watch it, but I want to start blogging via video. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, it took us about 11 months to plan the wedding. I believe it was 11 months. I wanted to get married straight away, but I knew that we couldn't get married straight away because of money mainly. So I believe it took about 11 months. It was planned, it was all ready to go, and the date was the 7th of September 2013. We chose that date because my lucky numbers are 7 and 9, and it just so happened that the 7th of September fell on a Saturday this year. We thought it was perfect and had to take the opportunity, so we did. The day of my wedding. Sorry, I will get emotional about this. The day of my wedding was so beautiful. So perfect. There was a lot of crying, tears of joy from me, from my husband, from the bridesmaids, from my mother. It was a beautiful day. Everybody had so much fun. Excuse me. It was beautiful. That's where things went a bit south. Well, they went a lot south. His parents had treated us to a night in a lovely hotel. It was so beautiful. So perfect. And we spent our first night together as man and wife. Sorry, that's my phone. But when I woke up on Sunday, the 8th of September, it was the day of my mother and father-in-law's 40th wedding anniversary celebration. And I woke up with half of my vision gone. How that manifested was all of my right hand peripheral vision had gone in both eyes. So it wasn't a case of being blind in one eye. It was a case of all of my right hand vision had gone. It was jarring, but I put it down to stress. I was too busy with helping my in-laws with their wedding anniversary celebration. Anyway, I ploughed through the day, spent time with Nick's family, my husband. They are a wonderful family. I see them every year, and I've known them for a long time. But when it came to Monday, it was the start of my honeymoon period. It was the 9th of September. And the sight hadn't gotten any better. So I went to my optician, had an eye test done. By that point I was wearing these for visual work. Things like computer screens and that. Not all the time, but whenever I needed to use a computer or read a book, I had to use these. So they were prescription. They did the usual visual test, you know, the can you read the third line. They confirmed my prescription hadn't changed, but the visual field test confirmed that all of my right hand peripheral vision had gone. You know the picture where there's 2 circles, one for each eye? The right hand side of every single of both eyes was black. I had no right hand peripheral vision at all. That was a bit jarring. Next thing I know, my optician has referred me to the hospital, the eye clinic there, Great Western Hospital, and they performed basically the same tests but in more detail. So I went there on Tuesday and they confirmed my right hand peripheral vision had completely gone. The next thing I know, actually it was Wednesday, sorry. Next thing I know, I'm being admitted into hospital, into the A&E department, with a suspected stroke. I was quite shocked and alarmed and scared. Besides my vision changing, there was nothing wrong with me. Nothing wrong with me at all. I must have spoken to a good 3 medical students, various nurses in the A&E department, a doctor or 2. They asked me so many questions about my family history. Has anybody ever had any strokes? Anything like that. They checked my balance, they checked how I could hold my weight on my legs and arms, sensations, all kinds. Same questions over and over again. To my knowledge, no one in my family has had a stroke. So, I may be wrong, but going through my immediate family, I don't think anybody has had a stroke at all. So I was admitted to a stroke ward with a suspected stroke. That was the Wednesday, the 11th September. The stroke ward was certainly interesting because even though it was a stroke ward, the other patients in the ward were Alzheimer's, advanced or mild. 4 or 5 people came and went. I was there for 5 days. I remember speaking to Wendy, who couldn't believe that she'd had a stroke because she was walking, talking, no face droop, no arm problems. She was fine. She was grumpy, like me, being admitted into a stroke ward but not thinking that we'd had a stroke. But the doctor did explain to me once that there are 2 types of stroke, anterior and posterior. Anterior is the one with the face droop, the speech, the arms. Posterior affects other motor skills, I think. I couldn't believe I'd had a stroke. I was grumpy. I felt like time was being wasted on what I didn't think was the problem. So every day the doctors would come around doing rounds, I think 8 o'clock in the morning. They were talking about stroke, and then patients would come and go. There was 2 women in the ward with me, Mavis and Doris. They both had advanced Alzheimer's. It was very sad to see them. They would sleep all day and talk all night, gibberish about, I don't know, a memory, I guess. But it was very sad to see them. Thursday came. I'd had 2 lots of blood work taken at that point, and I had a cannula in my arm. They originally were going to give me steroids to help my eyesight recover, but this cannula just sat in my arm. I had a chest x-ray. That came back clear. I don't know what they were looking for, but that came back clear. I had a CT scan. They said that wasn't very helpful. I think the doctor described it as looking at the brain on a layer of snow. I don't know what that means. So they said they were going to do an MRI, which I believe they did on Thursday. It's very scary having an MRI done. It's noisy, there's the thudding, there's the enclosed space. I'm not claustrophobic, but that was quite scary. I was glad when it was all over. I didn't hear anything more about the MRI until Friday, when they came round in their morning rounds. Dr. Williams, who's a lovely guy, he told me that I had lesions on my brain. I don't know exactly how many. I asked them. They couldn't remember specifically how many, but they said at least 3. I don't know where they are, I don't know how big they are, but they are there. That was the first time MS was mentioned. It was mentioned in passing. I had no knowledge of MS at all, other than Family Guy sketch. I don't know if anybody watching this remembers, but Peter Griffin's high school bully suffers from MS, because Peter Griffin wanted to go and beat him up as an adult. But he couldn't, because his bully had MS. That was my knowledge of MS. I swear that's all I knew about MS. I didn't know anybody who had it. I didn't know anything about it. But that was my knowledge. It didn't hit me straight away, because I didn't know about it. I was meant to be having a lumbar puncture on Friday. Doctors came to my bed, put me in the position they put you in for lumbar punctures, and the doctor tried finding a gap in my vertebrae to take this sample, but they were having a lot of difficulty finding that gap. I may be a big lady, but I'm quite flexible and I can push myself pretty far forward, but they couldn't find a gap. Not for lack of trying. They had a lot of attempts with the poking and the prodding and the bruising. Couldn't find a gap. So I was told that I'd be taken down to theatre, and an anaesthesiologist who has more experience with spines and putting needles in would take a sample. That never happened. Later on the Friday, in the evening, I was told that a lumbar puncture couldn't be done because the sample would sit over the weekend for processing on Monday and would be no good by then. So I was in the hospital over the weekend. Every day that I was in that hospital, I would test my eyesight. Every day. I would read the number plates of cars in the car park on the ground floor. I was on the 3rd floor. I would read those number plates, make sure that my eyes still worked. Monday came. Dr. Williams came round on his rounds, along with another doctor, Zoromskis. Very good chap. I do not know how many med students and doctors I've met in total. They were all baffled by the thought of me having a stroke, because I was walking, I was talking, I was moving, I was strong. So they started ruling out stroke. On Monday, the doctor came round, Dr. Williams, and said he wanted to know why the lumbar puncture wasn't taken, and I relayed to him the message that was told to me. They couldn't do the lumbar puncture because it would be sat over the weekend and would be no good on Monday. He couldn't believe that, because according to him, lumbar punctures could be processed over the weekend, and the shelf life of the specimen doesn't really matter if it's that close. So he was unhappy that the lumbar puncture wasn't done. On the Monday, they wanted to discharge me. They were certain that I could be discharged. So they tried again with a lumbar puncture, and they were successful. I couldn't even feel the needle go in. I've heard a lot of stories about how painful lumbar punctures could be, and I knew that if that was the case I'd have to live with the pain because it was necessary. But I didn't feel anything. I even giggled because I found it funny that I couldn't feel anything. It was quite shocking. But I giggled. Sorry, my husband has just texted me. Oh. Excuse me. I was discharged on the Monday afternoon. I'd had blood taken again for the 3rd time, so lumbar puncture and blood was taken, and I was told that someone would be in contact with me from my GP. So I went home. I think my vision by then was starting to get a bit better. Excuse me. So I went home and I waited. Every week I would call my surgery, ask them if they've heard anything about it, and I kept getting told no, these things take time, no, try again next week, try again next week. Excuse me. I was getting a bit impatient by that time. I was getting a bit desperate. I wanted to know what was happening. And at that point I remembered the doctor saying to me, I remember him saying the words MS. I then did a very stupid thing. I started Googling MS. I felt I was doing it to inform myself of what it could be. But I was finding all these horror stories, seriously negative things about MS. What made things even worse was I at one point was looking for the horror stories. I don't know why, but I was looking for them. All these articles, all these symptoms that I was searching for, I would look for the MS answers. And I got so worked up about it. I was convinced that I had MS, I had the worst form, and it was going to kill me in my sleep, or I was going to die from it within a few months. The next thing I know, 10th of October, I woke up and part of my left hand side was numb. From my hip, well no, from part way up my back down to my foot. Well, it was numb and it wasn't numb. There was a reduction in sensation, I know that much. I could feel pinpricks, I could feel movement, I could feel pressure. But it was different. Excuse me. I really started freaking out at that point. I really did. It reinforced my views that that was it for me, that was it, I was going. So I went to a walk-in centre. I originally spoke to the 111 NHS Direct Service and they told me to go to the walk-in centre, which I went to. And a young South African doctor happened to come across a copy of a letter between the neurologist and my GP. What it talked about was a bit confusing. It mentioned things about oligoclonal bands. It mentioned things about protein levels. I can't remember the rest. Excuse me. This cough has come on very suddenly. I can't remember what else this letter said. I'm sure we still have it somewhere. But I was freaking out so much. It mentioned MS again. For the second time. At no point, I just want to say, have I been told 100% I have MS? I will get to that in a second. So, I was put on antidepressants because my neurologist was asking me questions about how I was feeling, and I admitted that I was feeling very negative, I was feeling very desperate, very unhappy. So he put me on antidepressants, citalopram, 10 milligrams it started with. I didn't really feel anything. I know it takes time with citalopram, but I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any better. I just kept feeling worse and worse. So desperate, so unhappy. Thinking about MS every minute of every day. I was really scared. At that point, I was also on sleeping tablets, only for 5 days. I was on Zopiclone, which kind of helped, but kind of didn't help. I would sleep for 2, maybe 3 hours, and then I'd wake up again. I'd wake up in cold sweats. My mind was racing. So many things that I was thinking about. I was so afraid. And of course with the numbness and the well, I want to call it numbness, but I don't want to call it numbness because I could feel things. The South African doctor in the walk-in centre even tested me. He did pinprick tests, which I think I passed. But I went to see my neurologist again. And I told him all of my new symptoms, the numbness, the tingling, the tremors, and he told me that I had created this myself because of all the Googling that I did. Now I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's right. I'm a bit of a massive pessimist. I'm sure that it's doable, but I can't see how my body, well my brain can create those symptoms without something physically being there. Excuse me. 28 minutes. I might have to make this into a series. But he was so sure that this has been created by anxiety. He confirmed that what I've had is a CIS attack, a clinically isolated syndrome. Basically, MS is called MS because multiple means more than one. So, basically, I've had one attack of demyelination on my brain, which has created these lesions. That's my understanding of it. There is a possibility, whether it be now, whether it be, I don't know how far down the line, that if I have another attack, it will be MS. That's the scary part. It's weird to sit here knowing that your own immune system has started this. They don't know what triggered the CIS attack. My mother is pretty sure that stress started it. That is possible. I wouldn't be the first who has had this happen because of stress. But anyway, my pessimist side is worried that my symptoms at the moment, which are, I have got a slightly weak knee joint, a tight muscle in my lower left arm, and the left hand side of my abdomen feels like there's a belt around it that's a bit too tight. Not painful. I am not in any pain anywhere. I think I've only had 1, maybe 2 headaches since this all started. My vision, I had an eye test recently and my vision is getting better. The only downside is 2 blind spots have appeared at the top of my vision. I can see them here and here. I don't know what that means. But I have told my neurologist every symptom I have had to date. He knows everything. If I ever get something new, I phone him straight away and tell him. I have a second MRI scheduled in October of next year. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that he's confident that it's not MS and he's happy to wait 12 months, or... I know there's certain criteria to diagnose MS. You have to have more than 1 attack, I believe. That's what makes it multiple sclerosis. God, talking about it is so weird. I am frightened that it is MS. My Googling has stopped, but I have made some lovely friends who do have MS. I am not talking about it to scare myself. I'm talking about it to prepare myself. The advancement of treatment in MS has come on in leaps and bounds in the last 20 years. 20 years ago there wasn't even MS treatment. There was just MS. This is the calmest I've ever been talking about this. As of today, I have not been told I have MS. I have had a CIS attack. If I was in America, I would have benign MS. Basically they're the same thing. Well, no, they are the same thing. I think in America though they put you on treatments. No, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't put you on treatment straight away. I can't remember that part very well. I have MS friends in America. I am on groups on Facebook talking about it. Everybody there knows that it's still in the diagnosis stage. I am scared of being diagnosed with MS. I would really like to stay at CIS, but there's no guarantee it will, there's no guarantee it won't. I guess I'm just scared because of what's happening. My sight hasn't come back completely. I'm now wearing my glasses all the time. I get double vision. It comes and it goes throughout the day. I exercise my leg and arm, my left leg and arm, every day. The lifestyle changes I'm making in preparation for my future is I'm switching to the paleo diet, which I've done some reading about. I'm following the Dr. Wahls protocol. She is a massive inspiration for the MS community. She is a massive inspiration for a woman who was wheelchair bound 2008 to suddenly become someone cycling and walking and running a year later is amazing. So I am going to go paleo. I've been doing some reading. I found an organic butcher, found an organic greengrocer. I do not want MS to slow me down. I want to live my life how I want to live it. I want children. I want grandchildren. I have faith. I will post another video about that, because I know some people will want to watch it and some people won't. But I want my life how I want to live it. So that's me at the moment. I get tired. I sleep for about 5-6 hours a night. I can't sleep in. Once I'm awake, I'm awake. I'm walking. I'm running. I used to cycle every day, but I can't at the moment because my eyesight is still fixing itself. I'm not on any meds. I have queried steroids a couple of times, and my neurologist is apprehensive about putting me on them because of the side effects. I am currently on citalopram 20 milligrams, one a day, which I have at about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think they are helping me. I am more positive than I used to be, even though I don't look it right now in this video. I guess I have the medication to thank, sorry. Citalopram and slight touch of insomnia though. The citalopram is helping, but I want to get off them because I want to start trying for a baby. I think you can get pregnant on citalopram, but I want to get off them. So that's me. That's me at the moment. Scared, trying to be hopeful, but preparing for what I don't want to happen. In terms of my physical symptoms, they are getting better. They're not gone, but they are getting better. The road to recovery is a very slow process. I may talk about MS more in another video. It enters my thoughts very frequently every day. But I want to finish this video by saying a couple of words about MS. It was discovered in 1868, I think was the year, by a French scientist. So they have known about MS for a long time. They know what it is. They know what it does. It's varied. It is a terrible illness. But they've known about it for hundreds of years, and as I've said, medicine has seriously progressed in the last 20 years. And it affects, I think it's 2.5 million people at the moment. It can't kill you, I believe, but it can certainly make life interesting. So, I think every single MS sufferer in the world they had one wish, it would be to cure MS. It needs to be cured. If I don't have it, then I don't have it. Ideally, there are loads of diseases that deserve a cure, because either my friends are affected by them or I've read stories about people affected by them. It needs to be cured. There are some fantastic treatments in the world to help with it, but it needs to be cured. So this is my plea to the scientists in Copenhagen, in Sweden, everywhere at the moment. This needs to be cured. You men and women know so much more about this disease than anyone. You've seen how it can affect people. You've seen what it does to people, the stories behind it. It's within your grasp. This can be cured. This needs to be cured. The world could do without this disease. There are celebrities fighting this: Montel Williams, Jack Osbourne, Clay Walker, putting money and time into this. This needs to be cured. This really does. Please find the answer. I will post another video.